Well, hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Dee, and today we are going to be exploring a little more with some old book pages. My last video, I used an old book page, actually a few of them, and did some texture paste with a stencil through it. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to stamp on these pages and maybe even do a little heat embossing. Maybe not heat embossing, just regular embossing. So anyway, I have cut down these pages and I specifically chose ones that would kind of go, maybe kind of go with the theme of what I'm going to stamp or emboss. So this one in particular is talking about icebergs and the Muir Glacier. And so this, let's see, these have to do with nature. I mean, just kind of plant life and that kind of thing. So anyway, I am going to start off with doing some embossing. So I'm going to bring in my embossing machine and get these out of the way for a second. I've tried to do the zoom so that you can see what's going on. Now, since I'm going to use this page here, I have my stencil, my embossing folder already picked out, and because it has to do with where it's cold, glaciers, icebergs, I'm going to use this snowflake embossing folder. But before we get started, I'm going to do a little spritz with water, because even with newer paper, it can be a little risky with thin paper to have it not tear. So I've cut it down to fit a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card. I always get that wrong, and I've been card making for, I don't know, 20 some years. Okay, so I've got my sandwich, I've got my platform, and this happens to be a magnetic platform that goes with the Sizzix Big Shot, and one cutting plate. Then I have my embossing folder with my paper, and then we have this little gray silicone mat that will give as we run it through the machine and make the embossing. Okay, let me get this straight here. And sometimes it kind of lags behind the rest of it. I don't know why, but so far I've not had any trouble with it not embossing. So are you ready for the reveal? Oh, backwards figures. Isn't that cool? Can we get a glance at that? I hope the camera's picking up this. Oh, that's so cool. I love it. Now we're going to set this off to dry a little bit, because the next thing we'll do with it, we'll need it to be dry. So let me get my Big Shot out of the way, and we'll go on to the next phase, the next thing we're going to do. Okay, now in addition to these pages, I have my stamping platform. Let me bring it over here. And sorry about the glare. I'm going to scooch in now, just a tiny bit. Okay. Now, I already have a stamp in here, and I'm going to show you what I'm using. I'm using the Simon Says stamp Thankful Flowers, and I've had this for several years. It has obviously florals, and then it has some thank you stamps. Well, thank you. You couldn't be more awesome. You're amazing. And then a lot of sub sentiments that are fun. I really like this one. You help me be a better version of myself. I'm so grateful for your friendship, advice, and unconditional love. Isn't that sweet? Okay, so I you can tell that the ones that are stained are ones I've used. And I have used this one before too. So some of the other ones I haven't used yet, but I will eventually. Okay, so I want to show you where that came from. And we are going to pull in some Distress Oxide inks and set these off to the side. And I also have this Altenew mini blending brush set, and this is what I think I'm going to use to color or stamp in the flowers. So first of all, we have to decide which one of these we're going to use. This one is talking about river forest wildflowers, buttercups, dandelions, ferns. I think we'll use this one. Okay, so, oh, by the way, oh, I have to show you this. Okay, I have this scrapbook.com. It's a sticky mat, but with time and use, it stopped being sticky. So I really wasn't using it that much. I might have used it for the grid lines, but it wasn't sticking to anything, helping paper or cardstock to stick so that it would stay put when you're stamping. And I was watching Gina K the other day from Gina K Designs, and someone had a question about how you bring back the sticky on a sticky mat. And she talked about using pixie spray. Now, I don't have it out for me to show you, but it's a spray. It's called pixie spray, and it will create the sticky residue. Usually people use it for intricate stencils when they want to stencil something and they're concerned about the stencil moving around when they're doing the coloring through the stencil. But she said you can spray it on your sticky mat. And I tried it and it works. It's awesome. So this is made to fit inside my little Misty here. And so I've got it down here. Now I'm going to put my paper, my old book page, in the corner. Now, unfortunately, I didn't cut this totally square. I don't know why. I just didn't. So I've got this down. So when I pick this up, it stays. Isn't that awesome? Oh, and this will be important because if I don't stamp it well enough and I need to restamp, this needs to stay put. Okay? And because I didn't cut it square, as you can see, there's a little gap here when this is in the corner. It will need to stay put so that I can get a good stamp. Okay, now, so we'll take these out. And I've got this one that I use for the green, and this one that I use for the right persimmon. Technically, I only use the right name for right persimmon. The other is Mowed lawn. Okay, let's scooch this over a little bit, and we'll lift that off to the side. Okay, so I'm going to start with my right persimmon. And we are going to use this little brush, and we are going to just go over the flower. Okay. Now, I could have just stamped, I could have taped this off and stamped it with my ink pad, so that it would be masked away from the orange ink. But I didn't want to do that, and I really wanted to use these little blending brushes. So this is what I'm doing. And we'll see how it goes. So I've got these leaves, I've got the stem. Now let's fold it over and see how it goes. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's sticking well, isn't it? Oh, all right. Now, I think it could use another stamp. So, let's do the green one first. And then we'll do the orange. We'll see how this goes. Okay, here we go. Make sure everything is square where it should be. I'm going to use my little hockey puck that sometimes I forget to use. Oh, isn't that nice? I love it. Okay, now I believe I will put the lids on these inks and put them aside. And we're gonna let this dry just a little bit while we come. We're gonna let this dry. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. We're gonna let this dry for a little bit because it is distress oxide, which means it will stay wet longer. And I want to give this other thing. I think this is dry enough now. So let's close this up for now. And we'll put it off here. Now, I've got this lovely design from the embossing folder. And you know what? I have to get something. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I have this Stampabilities pigment ink pad, and I either got this as a gift long time ago, or I bought it at like Hobby Lobby or something. So I don't even have a refill for this. I just use it when I need to. And I have this little blending brush, and this might be a Gina K one. I'm not sure. So we're going to open this up, and we are just going to use this and barely, and I mean barely, go over the embossed part. And I chose this blue because it seems like, you know, when you think about winter and snowflakes and that kind of design, blue has become popular. And so that's why I thought I would use this kind of bluish color pigment ink pad. And I'm using pigment ink because it will well originally I thought I might use it for and use embossing powder over it, but I changed my mind. So we're just gonna stick with the pigment ink, and I'm just barely trying to glaze over this. And you know, when you're working with ink over an embossed area and you really just want to get mainly the raised edge, you just gotta basically just barely kiss it. Okay? And I don't know if, I mean, the goal is for this to highlight the snowflakes. And I'm not sure it's really doing that. But, you know, we are experimenting, we are playing, we are trying new things, because if you never try anything, you don't learn what works. And first of all, and secondly, you don't learn, or you learn what doesn't work. Okay, so how are we coming here? Let's get up to the camera. You can kind of see it in the light. It's better. So I think now we'll put this off to the side. And I'll close up my ink and put that aside. So I just have that scratch paper here. Now, let's see. What else can we do with this? We could stamp another flower or a couple more flowers here. Or we could just glue it on a card base and add a sentiment and have it be a clean and simple card. So I think we'll do that. So I have my cardstock all folded and ready to go. But of course I can't find it, so hang on. Okay guys, I am back, and I took the Just a Small Note of Thanks and the thank you stamps out of this Simon Says Stamp Thankful Flowers set. And so I am going to stamp them on these pieces of cardstock that I have scrap. as you well know, if you have watched my videos before, I love scraps. I love to use my scraps. So let's get this centered here. And I think I'll just use, oops, hair. No, thank you. I think I'll just use my little stamping block here, and hopefully it'll be good enough. Okay, now I'm going to use the Altenew Crisp Ink Permanent Black as the stamp, as the ink, I mean, for stamping this. And let's see how we do with this. Get it centered. And press down carefully. Ah, great. That looks great. You know, I did take a risk using the stamping block instead of the stamping platform, because if that hadn't inked well, then I'd be stuck. I'd be getting another little scrap and, oh, yeah. Okay, so here I am again, taking another risk. And I'm going to do the same thing, but let me get my little chamois thing and we'll wipe off, because I want to use the stamping block again. Why am I taking a chance? Good question. Very good question. We'll take this off. Okay, whoops. Get some of that water off of there. Ooh, that was really, really damp. Okay, just a small note of thanks. That's what I have here. Okay. Now, I have not used this little stamp, so I am going to condition it. You know, that means basically getting the factory residue off of the stamp so that it will stamp better. I think what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm just going to stamp it here. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, here we go. Ah, nice. Very, very nice. And get that wiped off here. I kind of like to clean up as I go, because otherwise, you know, you have a whole bunch of things to clean up and when you're done, and it's just better to do it as you go. Okay, I'm just going to eyeball this little, like I said, this was a scrap. So I'm just eyeballing this, and we'll try to get it as straight as possible. And I would say that's pretty good. I think I will trim this edge too. All right. You know, this is kind of like giving your kids a haircut when they're little. You snip a little, you cut, you snip a little because you didn't get it even, then you snip a little more, and you do a little more, and eventually, sometimes the hair gets cut too short. Oh, do you remember those days if you ever did that? Okay. So, let us get our double-sided tape. And because this book page is old, I talked about in my previous video that the book was published in, I think it was 1901, and I've taken out the pages that I want to use, and then I threw away the book. So I'm not going to look for that right now in the garbage. So, okay, here we go. Let's get this put on there. And I recommend double-sided tape for old book pages, because if you use glue, because these pages are thin, at least this book, the pages are thin and they warp and wrinkle easily, which, you know, if you watched my last video, you know that's what happened with the texture paste, and I did not anticipate that at all. I really didn't. So, anyway, if you use liquid glue instead, you're probably going to be sorry, because it's going to warp and leave little, you'll be able to see the glue even from the front side. Because I did that once, and I thought, whoa, it's not working. Okay, let's tear off the backings. And because this paper's thin, I have to be careful. And I got my little pokey tool here. Now, I'm going to use a trick that I've seen other YouTubers do, and just, I didn't do it on this one, but I don't think it'll make a huge difference. Just peel it partway back, because if you peel it all the way back and you accidentally get it stuck, you're kind of stuck, literally. Okay, get this going the right direction. Now, I have a cream card base, and I've had this cream cardstock for a long time. It's lighter weight than the typical 180 pounds. I don't know what this is, maybe 100 weight or something, but I thought because it matched the cream color of the book page better, I thought this would be a better color of card base. Okay, now I'm trying to angle this so that it's, yeah, that's about as close as I'm going to get. Okay, so let's get that, and we'll just do one side at a time. Okay, get these out of the way. Okay, now we have our thank you, and we have our small note of thanks. Let's see, where, you know what I didn't think about? The white is kind of stark on this. I think I'm gonna have to rethink this. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, guys. Let's see. I got into my stash, my scrap stash, and I found some cream colored scraps. So that is what we're going to use. I'm sorry I didn't think about that earlier. I feel a little silly now. So we will save these for another card, okay? I'm not going to throw them away. All right, now since we already have just a small note of thanks on the block, we're going to leave it on there, okay? And I'll just stamp that one first. In fact, since I have a big scrap here, I think I'll just stamp more than one. Then I'll have more for another card. Now, I don't know if you can see this. It smudged a little. Can you see that? I pressed too hard. So that's something to think about when you use these little stamps, these sentiment stamps. If you press too hard, they can kind of get a little squidgy. Okay. Let's see. You know what? I think I'll just leave it be. We'll scrap this one and just use this one. All right. Now let me get this cleaned up, and then we'll do the thanks one again. Here we go. Okay, and I've got my scrap ready. You know, I really should use my scrap paper, because if I got ink on my table, I would be frustrated. Okay, let's go here. And here we go. Let's see. Okay, just give it a second. Now, this is not a delicate of a sentiment, so you can press down a little harder. That is totally okay. It's the thin, skinny ones that you really have to watch out for. Ah, it didn't stamp well enough. Look at that. Okay, we are going to do what we should have done, and I was just being lazy. We are going to get the Misty back out. Let's get this rearranged, for Pete's sake. And I'm going to move my flower stamp out of the way and give it a little wipe, because we want a clean surface. Ah, that is frustrating. Okay, now I have my scrap, and I'm gonna set it like this. Use my magnet, and you know, I've got my little sticky thing here too, so now I need to wipe this off and put it on the Misty. I hope you guys are still with me. If you're not, I suppose it's because I've been lollygagging around, making mistakes. Okay. Let's get this here. It is in the corner. It's square. Make sure I'm in shot. Be helpful. Okay. Now we're going to let that pick up. And we'll stamp the thank you. Whoop. Get that little scrap out of the way. Okay, let's use this now. Ah, that's so much better. But you know what? I'm going to stamp it one more time. Make it nice and crisp, because after all, it is called crisp ink. Oh, that's so much better. So much better. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take this out, and we'll just set this aside for now, okay? Oh, no, we don't want to do that. I don't want to get it stamped on my freshly inked pixie sprayed sticky mat. Okay, we're gonna do this by eye, and that looks pretty good, I guess. Okay, now back to this. Okay, here we go. We are going to put it here. Now, since I have this, I'm going to use it as my what am I trying to say? Good grief. To add dimension. There you go. Come on, Dee. Okay, let me get my glue. Hang on. Okay, guys, guess what I did? I bought a new bottle of art glitter glue. You know, I've used Barely Arts for years, and I have actually used the art glitter glue. That's actually what I started using when I really got into gluing things. So I've got my little top on, and we're going to use that to glue on the dimension. Now, this is like, you know, the little tiny bottle that I refilled, you know, that I love using. It was getting down to where it was kind of hard to get it out. And so I thought, I'm just going for this. And okay, here we go. All right, you know what? I'm going to do just a little bit more dimension because I can. Let's get this cut so that it's kind of the same size. And this will pop it up nicely. Now, there are different tips for that art glitter glue and the Barely Arts. In fact, I think maybe what I have here is for Barely Arts, but it fits the art glitter glue. Okay, now we're ready to apply it to the card. All right, I've got it centered. Okay. Now I have this. Okay, we got to put the pin in for now. Make sure, because otherwise it will get hard in there and the glue will not come out. If you haven't noticed that before, it will happen. Okay, I am just eyeballing this. Usually I like to use my cutter to cut things down, but I didn't really want to bring it over here. So, I think I'll put it up here. And I have these little strips, and we'll just cut a little dimension for that too, okay? Maybe not. Oh, take out the pin. That would be helpful. And get this right. Okay, now we'll put it here. And we'll just put it up here. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay, let's get this pin back in here. We don't want to forget that. All right, now let's get this stuff cleaned up here because it's looking shabby. Here is the thank you card that I just made. Now, let's see what we can do with this. And I have another card base here. And we'll see. Now, when it's paired on the cardstock, it seems to pop up just a little bit. I mean, the blue. So let's get this on here. And we will stick it on. Okay. Oops. It's pretty sticky. Okay, now I'm going to really press it down because with the embossing, it will have less area to grip. So let's get this. This time I'm going to remember to fold back all 4 sides, not forget the first one. Because it really is handy to have that unpeeled area so you can lay it down and here we go. I think that's probably as good as it's gonna get. So let's do this. I think I'll do the one opposite next. And then we'll do the top and bottom. Okay. I think this card has gone, or excuse me, this video has gone on long enough. So we are gonna stop here. And just know that you can use old book pages, you can stamp on them, you can emboss them and do a little inking. So, cool, huh? All right, now, let me do my stamp on the back. And we'll have that ready to go and have it be signed before I send it off to whoever I send it to. Oh, whoops. That H did not get, I guess I got in a hurry. All right. Let's get them front and center again. Here you go. Cards made from old book pages, and I hope you enjoyed what I did here today. I hope you give it a try because it was fun to experiment. It really was. And I think probably this one will end up being a Christmas card, and maybe I'll feature that in a future video. Guys, if you like this video, please like it, share it if you would, Comment if you would. I would love to engage with you in the comments. I really would. Let's just get to know each other a little bit and enjoy this beautiful craft of card making. All right, guys, take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.